Welcome to 2.4 lesson part A. So today we're going to be solving by factoring. Next time we're going to be solving by using the quadratic formula. So today's solving by factoring is exactly what we've done the last two lessons where we reviewed factoring. We're just going to do one extra step. And that extra step has to do with this. It's called the zero product property. The idea behind the zero product property is that if I multiply two numbers, but I know the answer is 0, then I know something about these numbers. If the answer is 0, then either that first one needs to equal 0, or that second one needs to equal 0. Those are the only options in order to make your answer 0. Now, think about this real quick. Let's say I have the same thing, but I want it to equal 100. Does that guarantee anything about what these two answers need to be? No, it doesn't. The only way that it works is if it equals 0. And if it equals 0, then either the first one's 0 or the second one's 0. We know stuff. If it equals a number, then there's lots of possibilities that these numbers could be. So that doesn't work. It has to equal 0. So if we come to this first problem right here, right away we should notice this does not equal 0. So I need to do something in order to make it equal 0. So what I'm going to do is add 36, because now that's 0. But if I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I'm going to add 36 to this side. So I look, are there any like terms I can combine 36 with? Nope. So I'm going to write it out and make sure to write it in descending order. Just a reminder, descending order means the exponents go from biggest to smallest. So that's my descending order. Now I can factor that. And this is even my easy method of factoring because there's no number in front. So this is our fast method of factoring, where you just take the last number, and then I'm going to find two numbers that multiply to 36 and add to 12. So that would be 6 and 6. And then I take my two numbers and I write them in. So plus 6, plus 6. And that's all you need to do for the factoring. Now we have an extra step. That's what we did before. For this lesson, it's solved by factoring. So you'll notice this problem now looks similar to what I wrote up here. I have a something times something equals 0. Something times something equals 0. So that means either the first one equals 0, or the second one equals 0. So either the first equals 0 or the second equals 0. Those are my only options when it equals 0. So now I come back to this, and I'm going to solve it. So I have n equals negative 6, solve it, n equals negative 6. Since they're both the same, I only need one of them. So that's that first one. Now let's try this one. This one, there's a little trick to it. Now I could minus x squared to get me my 0. Because remember, the whole point of this is we want it to equal 0 so we can use that zero product property. So I could subtract x squared, write it in descending order, so minus x squared plus 10x minus 24. But if I do it this way, I now have a number in front of x, which means I can't do my super short way of factoring that we used up here. So I'm going to do it a different way. Copy the problem again. Instead of bringing the x squared over to the right, why don't we bring everything on the right over to the left? So let's add 24. So we get rid of that one, that equals 0, and minus 10x. So that one equals 0. So now I have 0 on the right-hand side, and I'm going to write the left-hand side in descending order. And now notice my number in front of x, I don't have anything. So now I can use my super short way of factoring. So that's a little trick right there so that you bring things to one side so that if you can, there's nothing in front of the x, so you can do the easy method. So my easy method, I have my 24. I need two numbers that multiply to 24 and add to negative 10. So that's going to be negative 6 and negative 4. Multiply to 24, add to negative 10. And then I do my parentheses for factoring. So I'm going to have x. First one's going to be minus 6. Second one's going to be minus 4. And now, just like before, I have something times something equals 0. So using that zero product property, the only option we have is either the first one equals 0 or the second one equals 0. And then I can solve it from there. So I get x equals 6 and x equals 4. And since they're different this time, I want both of them. Okay. In the next video, we'll do 2 more examples, and then I'll show you which ones are your homework.